Okay. We are convened here today, November 5th, 2021, for a continued hearing in the matter of Tara Campbell versus UW Parkside. And this is ERD case number CR 2019-00494, EEOC case number 26G 2019-00537C. And this hearing is taking place online using WebEx video conferencing software. And I'm Administrative Law Judge Roseanne Wasserman, and I presided over, this is the third day of hearing, and I presided over the first day of hearing as well. The first day of hearing in this matter was held on May 26th, 2021, and the second day of hearing was held on September 23rd, 2021. And I will explain later why we needed to convene a third day of hearing, which is going to be just a short hearing, restricted really to one main issue. And I will have the parties state their appearances, please.
The claimant, Tara Campbell, appears along with her counsel attorney, Thomas J. McClure.
Okay, and for the respondent?
Respondent appears via its attorney, Matt Lind, and also bringing witness Bob Grieshaber with it today.
Right. Is Mr. Grieshaber going to be acting as your representative?
Sure.
I mean,
are you okay with that?
If that's who you choose. I will note for the record that on the first 2 days of hearing, Sharonda Glass was the official representative for the respondent. I guess it only makes a difference because if someone is going to be a representative, they may remain in the hearing room, even if they're going to be a witness. Whereas if someone is just a witness, then I like to sequester them and not have them hear the testimony of the other witnesses. So there's no question of one witness's testimony influencing the others, but of course, parties always get to stay in the room, you know, the complainant, in this case, the complainant herself and the respondent's representative. So if you want that to be Mr. Grieshaber, he may remain in the hearing, even though he will be testifying later. So, okay. Let's see. And I did turn the recorder on, so I am recording this hearing, and I will note that the first 2 days of hearing were also recorded. We have video recordings of both of those days of hearing, and I believe both parties requested copies of the recordings. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, and both parties have both attorneys. You've received copies of those recordings. Our office sent them to you.
That is correct.
Okay,
that the respondent has received those. Yes.
Okay.
I believe I received them, but Judge, I'm coming off a month of COVID, and quite frankly, I'm having a little trouble remembering. I assume that I did. I just can't recall.
Oh, you're coming off of a month of COVID? You
Yes.
personally had COVID?
I actually have an excuse that says I'm not to drive to court until starting on Tuesday.
Oh, wow. I hope, well, you're almost over it then?
Yes.
Wow. I hope did you have a really difficult case of it or fairly mild?
I did. I didn't have to be hospitalized, but I had a much more bedridden, extended experience than was realized initially.
Sorry to hear that, but I'm glad that you're better.
I am.
What about did your other family members get it as well?
Yes, my wife and 2 adult children who live with us, but they've gotten over it relatively quickly. The young adults, and my wife is a few days behind me, and she'll probably be done with her recovery in about another week.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you're all getting better. So sorry to hear that.
No hospitalization. It's a good experience.
Yeah. That's good that you didn't have to be hospitalized. Yeah. Well, anyway, so I guess I will explain for the record. I mean, it was explained, I think, well, at the last day on the last day of hearing, and then we've had email communications in the meantime, and those are part of the record. I've put them into the, the electronic case file, so the record should already show this. But I will note now on the record that the reason we're holding this third day of hearing is to allow testimony regarding the exhibit that I have marked as Respondent's Exhibit 6. And basically it replaces Respondent's Exhibit 5. Respondent's Exhibit 5 contained, and there was a lot of testimony about that on the last day of hearing, contains photographs of the what we're calling shuttle measurements, the measurements of Ms. Campbell's arms, and how far she had to extend her arm to use the steering wheel and to press the button that opens the door on the shuttle bus, which is relevant to the accommodation issue and the issue of all of the issues of disability discrimination in this case. Anyway, I don't need to get into all of that, but the record, no, we have a lot of information about that on the record. But in any event, the photographs were black and white photographs. They weren't very clear, and they didn't have any captions or notes on them to stating what the measurements were or any of the information. There was a cover page to it that said the document contained shuttle measurements, but it didn't contain any specific like notes or captions for each of the photographs. Well, anyway, at the very end of the last hearing, Respondents Counsel, Mr. Lynn, sent an email with an attachment containing a set of photographs that were essentially from a PowerPoint with notes containing the same photographs that were in Respondents. So this new document I've marked as Respondents Exhibit 6, but Respondents Exhibit 6 contains basically, it does contain the same photographs that were in Respondents 5, but the photographs are much clearer, they're in color, and you can also actually see the measurements. There's the tape measure, you can actually read the numbers and all of that. So, and there were some issues related to the circumstances of those measurements and when they were taken, where they were taken, and whether the measurements were all in the one big shuttle bus or if some measurements were taken in a smaller shuttle bus. And so the thought was that both parties should be allowed to have a witness testify again about those exhibits or about those photographs now that we have much better, clearer copies of those photographs along with the notes that go along with them. And I'll leave it to the witnesses to testify as to what the notes are and exactly where the document came from and so on. But anyway, so really this hearing is just restricted to testimony regarding Respondents Exhibit 6 and the much clearer set of photographs. Is there anything else that I should say as an introductory matter? I think the witnesses should be able to fill in all the details. So I guess that's really it. So I guess we can go right into the testimony. And so we will go into the complainant's testimony first, of course. And Ms. Campbell, I swore you in as a witness on the last day of hearing and on both days of hearing, I believe, but it's been a long time, so I'm going to swear you in again. So if you could please raise your right hand and I will swear you in. Do you swear that the testimony you are about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, thank you. And if you could, again, please state your name for the record and spell it.
Tara, T-A-R-A, L. Campbell, C-A-M-P-B-E-L-L.
Okay. So, Mr. McClure, you may go ahead with your questioning.
Ms. Campbell, at the last hearing, there was a question you had raised about whether you had been asked to drive more than one vehicle as part of the measurement exercise by your employer. Do you recall that issue coming up at the end of the last hearing?
Yes, I do.
And you called me this morning, late morning, to advise me that you had had the opportunity since returning from out of state in Mississippi for a relative's funeral to study the issue more thoroughly, and you wanted to clarify your position on that. Is that correct?
Yes, I do.
Could you please advise the parties what you would like to clarify, if anything, from the last hearing?
Well, one moment. Would it be helpful maybe right now for me to put on the screen the document that we're talking about? And
Sure.
because I will want Ms. Campbell to explain in general, but also specifically which pictures were taken in which vehicle and so on.
Okay.
So
Um,
let me, why am I not seeing the part that asks me, allows me to, okay, the share button. It moved. Okay, I'm going to give me a moment. I have to get the document up on the screen. Okay, can all of you see this
Yes.
on the screen right now?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay, so this, I believe, let's make sure I have the right one here. Yes, this is the one with the color photos. Okay, so this document I will be marking as Respondents Exhibit 6 or R6, and this is the document I've been talking about. And it has, and I will, of course, when Mr. Grieshaber testifies for the respondent, he can go into exactly where this came from and so on, as he did last time, but he can talk about this new version we're looking at. Anyway, so I guess why don't you go back to what you were saying, Ms. Campbell, and then we can specifically go through the specific photographs, like which ones were in the larger shuttle, which ones were in the smaller shuttle, and so on.
Yes, my initial thoughts were the identity of the steering wheel, which were two different shuttles, which would be the first picture that my focus was on the Ford right there.
Well,
And
this is the first photograph.
Yes. And I had analyzed those, so because I didn't remember and still don't remember getting on two buses. But after analyzing the pictures, I could say there is a possibility that this is the same. I mean, different vehicles. My concern was that the emblem on both the large and the small bus are just identically the same, and I just didn't remember that being the nature of the vehicles as I drove them, by one being a turtle top and the other one being a 13 passenger. So I wanted to clarify that because I initially said that there was no smaller bus, but yet I'm still unsure that because I really don't remember this emblem being on the small bus, but it is.
Okay, when you say the emblem, you mean, what do you mean,
Yes.
that in what I'm pointing to now in the middle of the steering wheel?
Yes, ma'am.
Where it looks like it says Ford.
Yes.
So presumably both vehicles, the smaller and the larger, both were Fords.
Yes.
But
Yes, I didn't know that either.
well, okay. So I mean, I raised this question last time because it struck me when I was looking at these, and we can go through these now. The first set of photos in this collection of photos shows like the background of grasses, and you're outside in a parking lot. And then the last set of photos are inside a garage, and you can see the walls of the garage and so forth. So that's why I thought, you know, perhaps, you know, it looked like it could be two different, it was in two different places, and I thought perhaps two different vehicles. But your testimony was, no, it was the same vehicle. You had driven the large one into the garage, and it was, so it wasn't that you went to the garage and went into the smaller vehicle. But now you're saying, based on looking at those photographs, your recollection is refreshed, and you're saying that you do believe that the ones, the later, here, I'm going to scroll down through all the photographs. And so here we're at the first photograph. And these, by the way, unfortunately, these pages have not been Bates stamped, so I can't just go by the Bates stamp number, unlike all the other documents have been Bates stamped. Excuse me. But why don't we just, the first photograph, here we are, and you can see the background of the sort of the grass and all of that in the background. And then here's the second picture, and we can see trees and the grass. So and then here's the third one. Also, you can see the wooded area, the grass, and the trees and the bushes. And then here's the next one. Again, you can see the trees in the background. Again, another picture, trees in the background. Now, here we are. This is the first picture that has brick. You can see the brick in the background, which, and by the way, this is the first one that says small shuttle. There are these pages, and Mr. Grieshaber will be testifying about that, but the first ones it said large shuttle, and then now when you get to this next set of photos, it says small shuttle. And so here I'm going to go through all the photos. There's that one, the first one. Here's the second one. You see the bricks in the background. Here's the third one. You see the bricks in the background.
Mhm.
Here's the fourth one. You see the bricks in the background. Fifth one. You see the bricks in the background. I guess that's it. So all of those last 5 photographs all have bricks in them in the background. So now seeing that, and those are in those pictures were all taken inside the garage at UW Parkside, the
Yes,
garage where you parked where the shuttle buses were parked.
Yes, they were. And for the record, I did not drive that. I just sat in for the pictures.
Right. But I thought you had said the first day that you had a memory of driving the large van, which was originally outside,
The large
driving
one.
the large one, and that you then moved it and drove it into the garage.
Correct.
So you actually had a memory of driving it. It
Yeah,
sounded
I
like.
drove the large bus, but this bus right here, that stayed at the small, I did not drive it. They just had me sit in it.
Right, but you still have a memory of driving the large van into the
Yeah.
garage?
Yes, ma'am. Hmm.
Okay. But now, after further thought and looking at these photos, you remember that you actually got out of the big van and went into the small van for the second set of photos.
Well, I really don't remember. I don't remember that. That's why I had a problem with the steering wheel of not remembering me switching, because from what I thought I remembered that the small one was gone, but actually this is, you know, what it is. I had to analyze like the small bus. I don't see the buttons on here. So
Well, can you now, looking at these pictures are much clearer, as you know, from the pictures we looked at last time.
yeah.
So now looking at it, can you tell that the last 5 pictures, I mean, we see the brick of the garage, but can you tell from what we can see of the interior of the vehicle that it actually is a different vehicle?
Yes.
Is there anything here that tells you that?
Yes, that's what took me when I was analyzing in this vehicle right here, this picture with the door open, because I was thinking maybe the knobs were that were on a big bus, you couldn't see it because the door was open, but this door is open and the knobs are not there, and the steering wheel is identical, which lets me know that this was the smaller bus.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't follow that. What in the pictures, the last 5 pictures, in
Oh,
this set of pictures, which
okay,
are all
see,
inside the
okay.
garage.
Go to the first one.
What's the difference between them? As a layperson here, and never having seen the buses myself, I don't know what you're referring to.
Okay, go to the first picture or the second, the first and the
The
second.
very first of the big
And
ones?
the large bus.
Okay, there's
This
one.
is, okay, this is what let me know that they were two different buses. You see to your left, between the steering wheel, those two knobs. It's a knob at the bottom and it's one at the top.
I do not see knobs.
Okay, okay,
Or I don't know what you mean by knob. This, I'm
yes,
pointing.
yes, whatever it is, the two, whatever, right here, you have the marker on it, right on, yes.
Okay, so I'm pointing to, I guess you could say it's a knob that is in the picture. You can see it through the top part of the steering wheel.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's a knob that's on the big bus that is not on the smaller bus.
Yes, that's what I noticed on the smaller
Okay,
bus.
so let's go down. So this is the big bus and we see this knob.
Yes,
Now
ma'am.
we're going to go down to the bottom. And here we are. Here are all these pictures inside. There's no knob there. I guess I
Yeah,
can
and the
really.
door is open, so you can also see there's no knobs. Well, not in this picture though, you can't see.
Well, I
That
mean,
picture right there.
there.
There you go. Yeah, right there. So even with probably the door shut, I don't see any knobs there.
There's this, which could look like a knob from a
No,
different angle.
on the door, because the knob was on the door.
The knob was on the door. Okay.
Yeah, on the big
I
bus.
don't see it that.
On the big bus, yeah, that was on the door. So if you open that door,
This is on the door.
yes, ma'am. Yes, that's on the door. So if you open that door, you would not see that. You would not see that those knobs if that door was open on the big bus.
All right. I also wonder, are the buses the same color? Yeah, maybe it's just the way the photograph is, so it might not be, they might be the same colors. I notice there's kind of a greenish, bluish cast to this top part of the vehicle on the in the last pictures of the small van, and well, you can't see there. I don't know. It looks like this area it doesn't have that blue look to it. So I don't know if there's any difference there. You don't recall the colors in the interior colors of the two
It was
vans?
gray. It was just all gray on the side. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. That's neither here nor there. I see what I'm saying. Look
Right.
that in the photo, and again, it could just be the lighting that makes it look kind of greenish. As opposed to it really being greenish, because up in the earlier pictures, it looks like it's more of a white or a off-white color here. I don't know if I'm wondering if there's anything else that shows that they're two different vehicles that you can tell from these pictures, but maybe not. Anyway, now having looked at these pictures, your testimony is under oath that the the first set of photos are from the large bus, and then the second set of photos are from the smaller bus. That's correct.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So for the moment, I'm going to stop sharing. Okay. Mr. McClure, is there anything else you wanted to ask your client on this subject?
No.
That's it then? Okay. So Mr. Lynn, did you want to do any cross?
Yes, please. So I'd like to go back, if you could share the image for me. And
You want me to share again? Okay, no problem.
Yep. And I'd like to go to the second slide, which is just
Okay,
text on it.
so just one sec here. Oh, I don't know why it's not. Oh, there it is. Okay.
All right.
So now which
sorry,
photo
I
do you want?
I misspoke. I meant it's going to be page 2 of the PDF, but it's probably, yeah. So not.
Okay, so I'm at the very top, which is this title page, shuttle
Yeah.
measurements. And then I go down, I'm gonna go one page down.
There you go.
And
That's
well, the next page, it says large shuttle.
Yeah.
It's
All right,
just a
so
caption. Do you want me to go to the first photo after that?
I want us to just take a second on this page really quickly and
Okay.
note that this page says large shuttle, and it also says 14.5 inches from shoulder to right hand position on steering wheel. So that's and it also says sitting up regular driving position for hands. So I want us to note this caption, and Ms. Campbell, I want you to take a second to read this caption. And then I'd like to, once she's had a chance to read the caption, I'd like to look at the following picture. So Ms. Campbell, let me know when you're ready to go to the picture.
I'm at the picture.
Okay. All right. Judge, if we can move to the picture, that'd be great. So having read that caption, is there anything about the caption on the previous page that is inaccurate with regard to this picture?
Well, looking at where the Sharpie is, that's in a place in the middle of my shoulder and not at the tip of my shoulder. So that could make a difference in the measurements. You see where the Sharpie is in like in the middle of my shoulder and not the tip. And it could be up at the beginning tip of my shoulder. So that the Sharpie is in the mid section of my shoulder with the measurements of 14.5 inches.
So is the 14.5 inches accurately describing the extent of the tape measure in this?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
So you don't think that the Sharpie is pointing to 14.5 on the tape measure?
Yeah, it's pointing there, but I'm saying that the measurements could been measured from the tip of my shoulder and not in the mid section of my shoulder.
So your criticism is not so much with the caption, you're saying that the measurement itself was done incorrectly.
Absolutely. Right
Okay,
there,
thank you.
as far as what I
Well,
see.
you're saying, and I'm moving my pointer here on the image. So this would see, I'm pointing towards what I would see as the tip of your
Yeah, the
top
front.
tip of your shoulder,
Yeah, the front tip. I wish you could that. Yeah, the front tip.
where I am right now.
No, come down to the front. Yep, come over to the right. Well, it would be my right. Right there. Right there. That would be the tip of my shoulder.
All right, so Ms. Campbell, right now I'm only going to be asking you about what the pictures purport to show, not about where not about what you think the measurements should have been. And so what I'm going to be asking you in this series of questions is just, let's set aside the issue of whether the measurement was done correctly, because I think we can all clearly see on the image where the Sharpies are pointing to on your body, and just focus on, do you have any criticism of the caption itself as describing what was done in the image, understanding that with this image and possibly others, you disagree with how the measurement was taken. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I disagree. As
Okay.
it was raised up in the prior testimony, no one was a professional vocational representative, and that should have been done in light of my job of 23 years and the decision that was made in the service that I provided. It should have been done professionally. Yes, I would say that it could have been handled more professionally.
Ms. Campbell, that's not my question. And Judge, I would please request that the witness be instructed to answer the question.
Well, Mr. Lynn.
Well, if you
no,
can
I
understand, we understand, Ms. Campbell, and your attorney, can bring that out if, again, with further questioning if he wants, but I understand that you're questioning whether the measurements were taken correctly, were done in the correct way, that really measured your reach and so on and so forth, and maybe a vocational expert should have been involved. I know that's your position, but that's the question, because otherwise we're never going to get through this testimony.
Okay.
That's not what you're
And
being
he's
asked right
asking
now.
me-
You're only asked if the measurement as it was taken, which maybe should have been taken a different way, according to you, perhaps, but that's a different question. The question, and you're going to be, I assume, Mr. Lynn, you're going to be asking this about each of the pictures?
Yeah, I'd just like to go through each picture and just see if there's any
Yeah, right.
concerns with the
So
caption.
for each picture, you're simply right now going to be asked by Mr. Lind whether the actual measurement, the way it was taken, even if maybe you're saying it should have been taken a different way, but the question is simply the way the photo was taken and the way the measurement, the tape measure is placed, and where there's this Sharpie marker that's showing the measurement. Is it correct, like in this particular case, this first photograph, that the measurement is 14.5 inches?
But how am I supposed to know if it's correct if that's not my position and my
No, it's not. Mr. Lynn isn't asking you if the measurement was taken in the correct way, but simply given that it was taken, the way it was taken, is the reading off of the tape measure correct? In other words, that caption says 14.5 inches. Is this measurement here, as we can see on the tape measure, that's 14.5 inches? Are you agreeing with that?
We can say that. No, I don't agree with that because it wasn't, as again, we all see what it says and we know what the captions saying, uh, and it is what they have. So
Okay, so you're not disputing that this
no,
says
I'm
14.5 inches,
I'm
right?
not
This
disputing.
marker comes up at 14.5 inches.
That's what they have.
All right.
All right, let's go to the next caption. Let's take a moment and let's look at the caption. You'll see that this caption is suggesting that a measurement that was taken that may or may have not have been taken correctly says 19.25 inches. You'll see it marks it the large shuttle.
Whoops, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get it bigger, but it didn't help. All right.
It says large shuttle. It says sitting up, left turn of wheel. It says the measurement that was taken, which may have been taken incorrectly, according to you, says 19.25 inches from shoulder to right hand. And so we're not really concerned about whether it actually goes from your shoulder to right hand, but whether the measurement as taken is actually 19.25 inches. So let's go ahead and go to the next picture. All right, so the question here first, is this the large shuttle?
Yes.
Is the measurement as taken, which may have been done incorrectly according to you, 19.25 inches?
As he has written. And I can't even see the 19.
I could enlarge that part of the photo. Whoa, this is hard to control. Just a minute.
So Judge, if you see the plus
Yeah,
button,
I'm going to go plus. I'm
yeah,
going to do
there you go.
this. So now I've enlarged the photo, and the tape measure is upside down from our perspective, so that makes it a little harder too, but you agree, Ms. Campbell, that this marker is at the 19. You see that? 19.25.
I see it.
Yes.
Yes, I see it.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Do you want to go to the next picture?
Yeah, let's just
Or
try
the next caption, really.
Next
The next
caption,
right?
So let's take a peek at the next caption. It says large shuttle. It says sitting up and reaching for button. And it says 22.5 inches. Once again, you're going to dispute about, I understand, whether it was actually from the shoulder directly to the door button. But just for the sake of this picture, is that let's look at the next picture and say, is this the large shuttle?
Yes.
Okay, and is the measurement that was taken, regardless of whether it was done correctly or not, 22.5 inches?
That looks, yes, that looks correct.
Okay, excellent. Let's go to the next one. This is the caption. So this is saying the next picture is going to be in the large shuttle. You're going to be sitting back, regular driving position, and it's going to say the measurement, which may or may not have been taken correctly, was 20 inches. So let's go ahead and take a look at that picture.
Okay,
And-
I'm just getting this in my notes, just one sec. 20 inches, okay.
And let's look at the picture. Is this the large shuttle?
Yes,
Oh, I am so sorry. It's enlarged, it's harder to
Yeah.
manipulate the image. Okay,
It's the large shuttle. And is that, hold on, let me pull up I should have these in front of me. I do have these in front of me. So let me just get to the right picture here. So I'm asking you the right questions. Is this 20 inches? Is the measurement, regardless of whether it was done correctly, show a length of 20 inches?
that's what they have written.
Okay, excellent. Let's go to the next caption really quickly. This caption also says it's a large shuttle. It says you're sitting back, reaching for the door button. And it says there's a measurement of 28 inches. Once again, you're going to suggest it's not done correctly, but it goes from the shoulder to the right-hand position on the door button. So let's go ahead and look at that picture. And once you have a chance to see that picture in front of you, can you tell me whether or not this is the large shuttle?
Yes, it is.
It is the large shuttle?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And then does the measurement, regardless of whether it was taken correctly, does the measurement show a length of 28 inches?
That's what it says, but not to me.
Okay, is that a yes or a no?
Whatever he had 28 inches on there.
Okay, so you're saying the tape measure is showing a measurement of 28 inches,
I'm not
regardless of,
sure. I don't think it is. I don't know. I'm
can we
unsure.
enlarge the image a little bit?
I'm unsure.
okay.
All right, you can't, you're saying you can't read it, is
I
that
said
correct?
I'm unsure.
Okay, is it possible for us to enlarge the image so she can see it better?
I did, but I
I'm
can't.
looking at my own. I can see it very well.
You have a copy in front of you, Ms.
Yes,
Campbell,
ma'am.
of the color pictures here?
Yes, I'm looking.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
oh, okay, so you have a copy?
Yes,
You have a printed out copy or,
I'm looking at the PDF on my phone
oh,
where I can
okay.
see it up close.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And
Okay, do you see the 2-foot mark on that picture?
the 2 foot, yes, I see it.
Okay, and about approximately how many inches farther away from the 2-foot mark is the marker?
It's 2 inches away, I guess. That's what I told you. I'm unsure.
Okay.
But it's
So
two,
you can't, okay,
it's 2 marks away from the 2 foot. From the two.
Well, here's 2 feet, I think. Sorry. So, this marker though, as it's shown in the photo, it's at 28 inches. Is that right?
That's what
But
they have.
all right, let's go ahead and go to the next caption really quickly. And the next caption now says we're going to be looking at the small shuttle. It's saying you'll be sitting up in a regular driving position. And it says that the measurement is going to be 15.25 inches. Once again, I think your testimony is probably going to be that the measurement wasn't taken correctly, but that the question here is, does the tape measure reflect 15.25 inches in the picture? That'll be the question in a second. So small shuttle, 15.25 inches. And then once let's go ahead and look at the picture and we'll go through those questions. Okay, so is this in fact the small shuttle?
Yes.
Okay, and to the best of your ability, does this measurement show 15.25 inches?
Yes,
Here, I'm going to enlarge it.
Okay.
that's what it
It's kind of,
says.
this one's kind of blurry, actually. Oops.
I believe the testimony, Ms. Campbell, was that this is actually approximately 15.25 inches.
Yeah, that's what it says on there.
Okay. All right, then let's go to the next caption. We're cruising through these. We'll be done with them soon enough. All right, next caption says small shuttle. It says that you're sitting up, reaching for a door button, and it says the measurement was 22 inches from your shoulder to the right-hand position on the door button. Once again, understanding it may not be, according to your opinion, the correct position on your shoulder. So let's look at the picture. Is this, in fact, the small shuttle?
Yes,
Does the measurement taken, whether it was done correctly or not, show 22 inches?
that's what is written.
Okay, excellent. All right, we're getting there. Just a few more. Next caption also says small shuttle. This one says sitting back, regular driving position for hands. And then it says 18
Sorry,
inch.
I think okay. Is this
Yeah.
where we want to be now? The
Yes,
18?
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And it says
All right.
18 inches. Now you may say it's not correctly taken from your shoulder to your right hand, but that's what it says. 18 inches from the shoulder to the right hand position on wheel. So let's go ahead and look at the picture. And is this still the small shuttle?
Yes,
Okay. And does the measurement as it was taken, regardless of whether it was done correctly, show 18 inches?
yes, it does show it. That's what it says.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and go. I think we only have 2 more pictures and 2 more captions to go through. So next caption should say small shuttle. It says sitting back, left turn of the wheel. This one says 22 inches um, from shoulder to right hand position on wheel when turning left, understanding that you're probably going to contest whether it was actually on your shoulder or not.
That's right.
So let's look at the picture. And in that picture, is that in fact the small shuttle?
Yes,
Okay. And does that, regardless of what,
Sorry. Okay.
so it is, the picture is the small shuttle, regardless of whether the measurement was taken correctly, does the measurement itself show 22 inches?
that's what it says.
Okay. All right. Last one. We've got
Just,
a,
okay, I'll
yes.
get there in 1 sec. I'm just going
No
to submit my
worries.
notes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so the last one, the caption says small shuttle, sitting back, reaching for door button. And this one suggests a measurement of 25.5 inches from a shoulder to a right hand position on door button. And I'm understanding you're saying the shoulder was probably not measured correctly, but the measurement indicated here is 25.5 inches. So let's go ahead and go look at the picture. And my first question to you is this the small shuttle?
Yes,
Okay. And does the measurement that was taken reflect 25.5 inches?
that's what it says.
All right, excellent. Those are all of my questions.
All right. Let me stop sharing. Okay. All right. So, okay. Any redirect, Mr. McClure?
None.
Okay. All right, then I guess that's it for Ms. Campbell's testimony. So, and Ms. Campbell is your only witness. So then we move over to the respondent's case. And the respondent is calling Mr. Griesaber. Can you remind me the correct pronunciation? I'm probably saying it wrong.
Bob, could you
Judge Wasserman, that is correct. It's Grieshaber.
Okay, so I
Correct.
got it right. All right, great. All right. All right. So just as I said with Ms. Campbell, it's been quite a while since I swore you in, so I am going to swear you in again. So if you could please raise your right hand And do you swear that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, thank you. And once again, if you could please state your name for the record and spell it.
Robert Grieshaber, Grieshaber.
Okay, thank you. All right, so Mr. Lynn, you may begin your exam.
All right, Mr. Grieshaber, did you have a chance to prepare for your testimony today at all?
Yes, I did.
Can you describe for us any activities that you engaged in to prepare for your testimony today?
I reviewed the document we were previously discussing with the photos. I also went to our garage where we keep what's referred to as the small bus or the small shuttle to verify we are indeed talking about the proper vehicles as they are discussed in the handout.
And do you agree with Ms. Campbell's assertions that today that the small shuttle and the large shuttle are correctly labeled in the exhibit we just went over, which is marked as R6?
Yes, the small shuttle and the large shuttle are correctly labeled as they are identified in the document with the photos. That is correct.
Did you have a chance to look at the large shuttle yesterday?
I did not, due to the fact that the large shuttle was sold on surplus as surplus equipment. So we no longer have the large shuttle. We still maintain the smaller vehicle.
Did you did the university buy a new large shuttle, or you only have the small one now?
Correct. We had two, the large and the small, as for lack of a better term, redundant vehicles. And we sold the large shuttle, the large bus.
And you obviously had a need for two shuttles, or there was a perceived need for two shuttles in the past, and it appears that there's no longer a perceived need for two shuttles. Can you explain to us what changed in terms of the perception of the need for a shuttle?
Correct. When COVID started and we went to virtual instruction, in other words, no students on campus, that was March of 2020. There was no need to transport students across the campus. So I can't think of the word, we disbanded, we canceled our shuttle service. Since we were no longer in the transportation business, we sold one of the two buses, the older bus, the large shuttle, and we no longer have that. We still maintain the smaller vehicle. We have not sold that yet.
And do you recall what make the company that makes the vehicle either shuttles were?
I do not have the bus manufacturer at my disposal. We would have records. However, I do know both vehicles, the chassis was made by Ford Motor Company. So there is a close resemblance, at least by the interior, regarding how the vehicles look. And that's what causes some of the confusion. They look identical. It's a Ford vehicle interior on both the large and the small shuttle.
Thank you. All right, so now I'm hoping, Judge, just to look at some pictures really quickly here. And just a few pictures, not all of them.
So you want me to share the document again?
That would be great. And I'm gonna I'll let you know what page I'm looking at shortly here. So the page I'm on is page,
I don't know. Oh, something weird's going on. You're not seeing this, are you?
no,
Okay, let me try again. It didn't, when I clicked on the sharing, it didn't. Try again. There. All right.
oh, excellent. And I would like to look at page 7 of this document.
All right. So I'm going to go to the top.
There
Let's
should
see
be
if,
page numbers, Judge. Oh, yeah.
are there?
Um,
Well, it doesn't, this is the
If-
one, it
if you
doesn't
look
look like
right-
there are page numbers.
If you look right below where it says Exhibit R6, and you see there's hands, and then there's a
See,
blue
there is
button.
no, maybe I put on the screen. Let's go off the record for a moment. Just a minute here. Let's see. I'm not sure how to do this when I'm sharing a screen. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute because I want to clarify what document I'm looking at here, what version I'm looking at. So I stop sharing and I'm going to
You're gonna pause.
pause the recording. Okay, I've resumed the recording and I've clarified the page numbering issue here. So I'm going to share the screen again. And we are looking at Respondents Exhibit 6 and the page there, as I've said before, I haven't had this document bait stamped because it came in later after the other documents were bait stamped, but it is a PDF document and it does have page numbers, the PDF page numbers. So it has 21 pages total. And now I am going to go to page 7 because that's what Attorney Lynn wants. So here we are at page 7. Is this what you wanted? Or did you want a different page?
I'm sorry, Judge, I was muted. I was saying this was exactly the image I wanted while I was muted.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And Judge, I'm understanding we're back on the record. Is that correct?
Yes, I stated that on the record to make
Okay,
sure, but let me
thank you.
just check the button for recording, which is hard to find when I'm screen sharing. Just a minute. Recording is in progress. Yes, I did turn it back on. Yes.
All right, excellent. So Bob, I want you to take a look at what appears to me to be the right-hand side of the picture, where it appears that Ms. Campbell is pointing toward a button. Do you see that?
Yes, I do see the button.
Okay. Is that button? Do you know what the function of that button is?
As I recall, that button is to open and close the passenger door.
Okay, excellent. And then I'd like you to direct your attention to about in the middle of the picture where we see a rear view mirror that appears to be divided into two.
Correct.
Is that actually a rear view mirror?
That would be a rear view mirror attached to the door, correct?
Okay, excellent. So let's now go ahead and I'm going to give you another page number. Once again, this is based on the PDF pagination. And so I'd like to go to what it is page 15 of the PDF. And if you look at the lower right-hand side of the picture, it appears that Ms. Campbell is pointing towards something. Do you recall, either based on the caption for this image or your taking of this image, to what she was pointing?
I recall that she was pointing to the door button, the passenger door button on and this would be the smaller bus.
Okay. And is that in the same position as the picture on page 7 of the PDF?
Do you want me to go back to page 7?
Sure.
To answer the question, the passenger door button on the larger bus, which is what we're looking at now, the button on the smaller bus is in a different position. It's slightly lower between the two buses.
And if you see on the, so going back, we're now on page 7 again. So looking at that page, do you see the outer edge, what a doctor might call the distal edge, the farthest edge from the van of the rear view mirror? Does that appear to be straight or curved? More straight or more curved?
The edge
Look-
of the rear view mirror?
Yeah, the edge. Does that appear to be an arc or a line? More of an arc or more of a line? And Judge, you were highlighting it correctly.
This?
Yes.
The upper left corner?
All the way down,
this-
going down, following. Yep. Does that
Oops.
appear to be straight or does it appear to be an arc?
There is a slight arc.
Is it more straight or more of an arc? Most of the, oh, all right, fair enough. Let's just look at the other picture and not worry about that. Let's go
Okay.
back to page 15 of the PDF. And let's look there, and you're going to have to look in the middle of the right-hand side. You'll see the rear view mirror, I believe, that is on an open door, so it's somewhat turned in toward the vehicle. But let's look at the far edge, the distal edge, right, the farthest edge from the vehicle of the rear view mirror. And does that appear to be
Where's the,
curved?
excuse me, where's the rear view mirror?
Okay, so the rear view mirror, yeah, it's right there. It's above the dashboard. You're seeing it through the windshield.
Huh?
Yep. And
This?
so, no, that's a door. It's that's the
This?
rear view mirror. Yes. Is that the rear view mirror, Bob?
That is correct. That is the rear view mirror attached to the door.
All right,
Where the
and
door,
then
the door is open.
as the doors, yeah, with the door open. And so looking at that distal edge, the farthest edge from the vehicle, so not that edge, the other side, since the door is open, it's going to be on the opposite side of the image. Is that a similar curve, or is it more curved than the other image?
What the cursor is on is a curved surface, the outline of the mirror, and it was certainly more curved than the previous image you
All
were
right.
on.
Thank you. Okay, I think that's all I need to get into in terms of the details of the van. So now we can stop sharing the images, and then I just want to ask a few questions about the tape measure generally. So in terms of the tape measure, do you recall what part of the shoulder you were asked to measure from?
Yes, one of the attachments said to measure from the tip of the shoulder to the fist or the distal end of the finger.
Okay. And so what did you understand the tip of the shoulder to be?
I'm going to demonstrate. I'm going to I believe a sagittal pose here. Would be the front of the body, not the center of the shoulder, but the front of the body.
All right. And is it, to the best of your knowledge, did you attempt to point the marker in those pictures towards that position on Ms. Campbell's body?
Yes, I did attempt to point to the front of the body based on my approximation of where Tara Campbell's shoulder would have been underneath her jacket.
And so you couldn't see her actual physical shoulder. All you could see was her jacket.
That is correct. All I could see was her jacket.
Okay. And if there were errors here, would the errors be, do you have a sense of what kind of margin of error we might be thinking about in these images?
It may be If there were error, it would be an inch or two.
Okay, so inch or two, potentially, either direction. So, if, all right, fair enough. You answered the question that was asked, sorry. Moving on to the next question. When you held the tape measure, did you attempt to have the tape measure be straight, or was there any slack in the tape measure?
The attempt was to have the tape measure straight.
And is this one of those tape measures that sort of is made out of a material that straightens itself, or is it a tape measure that's made out of a material that is less rigid?
The tape measure is rigid.
Okay, and is
It's
that the
metal.
tape measure? Is that the tape measure you used
It
that
is.
you're showing us on the video?
Unfortunately, it is not. However, it is very similar to this.
Okay.
It's a. It was a Stanley power lock. This is a 25-foot tape measure. I was using my personal Stanley 16-foot tape measure, which is identical to this, but slightly shorter in the 8 feet less in the distance.
Okay, so the metal of the tape itself retains some rigidity.
Yes, that is correct. It retains rigidity.
Okay. And do you recall there being any bends or twists, or I should say bends in the tape measure?
I do not recall any bends or twists. I was attempting to specifically prevent that.
All right, I think I got through all my questions. Bob, thank you very much.
Okay, so that's it. All right, Mr. McClure, any cross?
Do you know the makes, models of those two Ford vehicles? In other words, what the name of each van was and its dimensions?
I do not have access to that information. I presume we have it on file. We simply refer to the two buses as the large bus and the small bus. And I know they were both built on Ford chassis. That is the extent of my knowledge regarding the maker of the bus manufacturer.
And is this the first time you've done a measurement exercise like this on an employee having a physical disability question?
No, it is not. I have done other, I'm going to term it as ergonomic assessments, where we have had to determine body positioning and body placement in reference to a workstation.
When were those other ergonomic previous tests done?
The answer to that question would be several years ago. I've been in this business working in the UW system for 30 years, and there have been several assessments over the past 30 years.
So several means more than two over the last 30?
I would estimate between 5 and 10.
And do you have any training in vocational rehabilitation measurement taking?
I do not have training specifically to vocational rehabilitation. I do have education and some experience in regarding ergonomic assessment of workstations, but not specifically in vocational rehabilitation.
Have you had any professional training in work disability measurement taking?
I do not have training, what I would consider professional training in that area.
Is it correct that this measurement was merely your personal attempt to logically take a response from a doctor and create a measurement to later create an exhibit for defending an employee claim?
That is correct. I was making a logical assessment in coordination with our workers' compensation coordinator to take a reasonable measurement of this particular workstation.
Did the work comp coordinator instruct you on how to do this?
The work comp coordinator and I were in collaboration, and we decided on the work comp coordinator's instruction from the individual she was working with. That is correct.
You're talking about Chris Heilgeist, the
That
name
is correct with Chris
you
Hallgeist, our
referred
workers,
to
our
last time.
workers.
Chris
I'm sorry.
Heilgeist.
I'm sorry for leaving that out. I was in consultation with Christine Heilgeist, our workers' compensation coordinator.
And we don't know what her training is in this whole area of taking ergonomic or work disability measurements.
I'm going to object to this because I offered to have Ms. Heilgeist testify today, and Mr. McClure strenuously objected to that. So I don't think it's appropriate for us to get into issues of Ms. Heilgeist's training
Well,
or.
does the witness even know what her training is specifically anyway? You can't answer that knowledgeably, can you, as to what her training was?
I do not know Chris Hallgeist's training, her background or education.
Okay.
I believe this was the first time you had measured an employee in a bus situation such as this.
That is correct. This was my first bus driver ergonomic assessment.
I have no further questions.
Okay. Any redirect?
No redirect. Thank you.
All right. By the way, Mr. Grieshaber, now that, well, there's still a concern with COVID and all of that, but are the classes now, have the in-person classes resumed at UW Parkside?
Yes, this semester, the fall semester, we are probably at 85% in-person instruction. So things
And
are relatively back to normal.
has the shuttle bus returned in terms of having a regular route?
No, the shuttle bus program has been discontinued.
So there is no one currently working in a shuttle as a shuttle bus driver, is that correct?
That is correct. We have no shuttle program, nor do we have a shuttle bus driver due to the fact there's no shuttle operating on campus.
So there's no shuttle service whatsoever right now on the UW Parkside campus.
That is correct. None whatsoever. No shuttle service whatsoever. The bus is dormant.
Okay. Any follow-up questions from either attorney? No?
No,
All right. No? No? Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for your testimony. I think that would be it for the testimony unless there's rebuttal testimony. Is there any? Are you planning to provide any rebuttal testimony from today's with regard to the earlier?
none.
No rebuttal. Okay. So that ends the testimonial portion of this hearing. Let me go off the record for a moment to discuss something, which I will summarize back when we're back on the record. I turn the recorder back on. All right, so while we were off the record, first of all, the parties agreed to a briefing schedule, a post-hearing briefing schedule. And the main briefs will be due on January 7th, 2022. And then the reply briefs will be due February 4th, 2022. And so the parties will file them with me, but also with the main, well, both briefs will file also copies with the other side. Also, we did talk a little bit about settlement and possible ways of reaching a settlement agreement to resolve this case, but we, you know, we didn't reach a resolution, or the parties didn't reach a resolution, but the attorneys have indicated that they will be in communication with each other and see if something can be worked out, particularly before the briefs are due, see if they can, if the parties can resolve this case. And then I do want to note that Respondents Exhibit 6, which is the exhibit we talked about today with the color photographs and the captions, that the parties are, well, the respondent is offering that into evidence. It's a Respondent's Exhibit. There's no objection, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so Respondent's Exhibit 6 is received into evidence. And all the other exhibits that were marked on the first and second days of hearing, you know, that's Complainants Exhibits 1, 2, and 3, and Respondents 1 through 5. All of those exhibits have already been offered into evidence and received into evidence. So I guess that takes care of that. So is there anything else that needs to be discussed for the record? I don't know if the parties are planning to request copies of today's recording. That's totally up to you. I know that our office did send out copies of the recordings of days 1 and 2 of the hearing.
I would request that. So we have.
Okay, I think you need to, as before, put in a request. You could just do the same thing. I think I had to, I think last time I even sent out those forms. So you could just go back and see what you submitted last time and submit the same thing. Or if you just want to send me, both of you, or either whichever one of you, or both sides, just send me an email and then I'll forward it to the person who fills those requests.
Let's just do that. Simpler the better.
Okay, then. All right, so that's it for now. Anything else? No?
Nothing else from the
All
claimant.
right, well then,
Thank you.
thank you to both parties for your patience, and then I'll be awaiting the briefs or the news that the parties have settled the case. And also best wishes to you, Mr. McClure, in your complete recovery from COVID.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess that's it. So I'm going to conclude the hearing now. All right.
You guys
Thank you,
take care.
everybody.
Meeting now.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.